This is Chris Newmarker. I'm executive editor of Life Sciences at WTWH Media. I'm executive editor of MassDevice and Medical Design and Outsourcing. And I'm here at our DeviceTalks Boston show. We've got scores of medtech industry leaders, thousands of attendees, and dozens of device industry suppliers on our exhibitor floor. We're going to head down to the exhibitor floor and find out some expertise from them. Come on. I'm with Frank Page at Viant, and Frank, your company had a really good panel yesterday with Vapotherm, where you were talking about what a contract manufacturer is able to do for a client. Kind of like how a contract manufacturer can go above and beyond. Just tell me about it really quick.
Yeah, so the panel discussion was with Vapotherm, and Vapotherm has a unique nasal cannula product that helps patients in respiratory distress.
Wow.
And their product saw a huge demand during COVID.
I bet.
And their particular device helps prevent use of masks and intubation. So they needed a manufacturing services provider to really help them transfer and scale up production to meet that demand.
Wow, what were we able to do?
So after they contacted us, they kind of challenged us to do it as quickly as we could. And we came back with a 3-month plan, which we thought was pretty incredible. And they said, we need faster than that. In the end, we worked together and actually moved the line and scaled it up to meet the hospital demand without stocking them out in 17 days.
That's awesome. I suspect communication played a huge role in that.
Both companies came together and really put the patient first.
Yeah.
And focused on the mission at hand. And work together as one team seamlessly. And I think that was a huge part of it, and communication is part of that. 17 days is huge,
Yeah, huge.
Compared to what normal transfers do.
Feels like a millisecond in medical device time, so it's a great story, Frank. Thanks a lot. I'm with Milton Yarberry at ICS. I get to talk to you, Milton.
Good to meet you, Chris.
I mean, one of the really, big topics right now for the industry is supply chain disruption. My understanding from you is that software from companies such as ICS can help medical device companies to solve some of these supply chain problems. I mean, tell me more about it. You got a cool...
Yeah. I mean, really, it's hard to talk about anything trending without addressing supply chain.
Yeah.
We're seeing that people need to replace components in their architecture. So microcontroller units especially, everybody knows silicon is at a bit of a premium.
Yeah.
So to replace this, what it's uncovering software-wise is that you replace one microcontroller and all of a sudden, any shortcuts you took on your architecture are going to become very evident. All of a sudden, you're really incentivized to have a strong architecture on the bottom side so that you can replace components, even the ones you think you have now, you may not have a year from now.
Right.
So a strong architecture for that. Making that robust doesn't just serve the ability to get it in, but also the ability to have a short test cycle. You don't know what's going to be replaced, a year from now, 2 years from now. So, but having minimum rework and minimum schedule times, when you wait 8 months, 9 months for a product to be available for you, you don't want additional 6 months in order to get it into your system because you had to go to the board house 3 times with 3 board spins.
Yeah.
So you need simulation on the bottom end to be able to support that.
That simulation helps you get
Exactly.
there versus trying to sketch that out
immediately and in parallel and with multiple developers across multiple sites. So
that's great.
Yeah.
Well, hey, thanks for describing that.
It's been great.
That's awesome. Cool.
Thank you.
I'm with Matt Heidegger here at PSN Labs, and you had a really good panel discussion yesterday about all the types of challenges that medical device creators need to watch out for with materials. I mean, what's one of the biggest things that anybody who's creating medical devices should really know?
Well, going back to the concept of not so functional prototypes, you look at the industry and everybody has the perfect solution, when in reality, there is no perfect solution that's off the shelf.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of design time, a lot of development time. You have to go back to the kitty a few times to figure out where exactly the challenges may exist with the product and truly understanding the product. So if there are 2 hot button topics, it's understanding the morphology of materials, how that impacts the device, what the gating location looks like, how the material flows through the tool, and also looking at corresponding biocompatibility of the device itself. So small things like, oh, I want to make it pink, or I want to make it purple, or some random color, some random shade of orange. On the surface, while that's doable, what's the effect on biocompatibility? What's the mechanical performance impact? Those things on the surface, everybody says, yeah, we can do that, but there's some pretty far-ranging effects that need to be taken into account, because that's ultimately what drives the time to market.
And I remember another good piece of advice I heard yesterday was just like, how, it's good to, take your time on the front end figuring things out so that you don't have, problems on the back end.
Yeah, and that's something that we often tell our folks is you always have time to do it right the second or the third time, rather than spending the time up front, spending the effort up front, because the solution, it does take time, but it saves you time to market if you do it the right way.
Yeah, that's great advice.
Yeah.
Well, thanks
Appreciate
a lot,
it.
Matt.
Thank you.
I'm here with Will Farley at Propel, and you were just discussing with me like some strategies for medtech companies when they're choosing software vendors.
Yeah.
What was your big piece of advice?
Yeah. So we're well into the digital transformation now, and what we're seeing successful companies do is going with a preferred partner who can provide a number of solutions. Going with a multi-service partner just makes more business sense, and it makes more integration sense. What we at Propel do, we straddle the product lifecycle management and the quality management for OEMs.
So like going in that quality management software somewhere, getting that product
Right.
management, product development software somewhere, you can give them the whole package.
Exactly.
And that simplifies it for them and helps them move forward. So that's great. Well, thanks a lot, Will. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
I hope you enjoyed our tour of the DeviceTalks Boston show floor. Check out MassDevice's YouTube channel. Thanks a lot.